Good morning. We have 30 minutes and we'll try to be as brief and crisp so that we can get as many insights from our distinguished panelists, uh, cutting across leading bank like State Bank of India. We've got Federal, Karnataka Bank, and AuthBridge. So without much ado, I think I'll just open up the panel, maybe to just start a quick intro about your role, and if you can just explain maybe in a line or two, in your industry or your organization's context, uh, what do you see from AI lens, moving on to generative AI, uh, agent AI, to agentic AI. I think there are multiple things. A lot of times, everything gets quite confused. So while we'll try and demystify it a bit, but I thought we'll just quickly get to hear that how do you see AI agents in your organization's context?
Yeah, thank you, Deepak. Thanks to the organizers for inviting us here. Uh, for a bank like State Bank of India, with more than 23,000 offices and a customer base of 520 million, it becomes very important for us that how do we go about in getting our works, whatever work that is getting generated, getting it done with minimum TAT. Because there are times when our people need to go through a huge volume of data, and sometimes it is in a paper form. So the use of AI, Gen AI or agentic AI, we are looking forward to how do we handle our credit underwriting, the customer services related issues, what they are cropping up, the mule hunter, which is the recent thing which has come in. How do we complete the enhanced due diligence for the customers with suspicious transactions with minimum TAT? Now it is taking 7 days. How do I complete it in 1 day? And then like that, there are multiple use cases which we are looking at for. Contact center is one. We get more than 1 million calls per day. So how do I handle them? So all these things are there, and we are still experimenting with AI and Gen AI. Gen AI we have already implemented. We are having one Gen AI powered chatbot for our internal customers, wherein the person who is sitting on the counter, and when some customer comes and inquires about some product, which this person might not be having information about because there are multiple products, then he has to just type the query, give a prompt in that chatbot, and the chatbot, after reading the circulars which are there in the database, will come up with the reply. So it is
Awesome.
getting a lot of
I
popularity.
think SBI is all the banks put together is what SBI is. So I'm sure there will be a lot and lot of insight. I think we'll cover this in bit more detail in the next round, Sudeep.
And the beauty of this chatbot is that it is multilingual.
Yeah.
So
No, absolutely. I
for
think
staff who speak
consider,
different languages,
considering you serve customers in every probably pin code of this country. So obviously that's everything gets tested also at scale. I think quickly moving to Indranil, from federal perspective, if you can just throw a highlight about any use case, any pilots that you have started to deploy, or any live use case where AI agents are in work.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Deepak, and thanks to the organizers for having me here. Thanks to the audience for being here. Yeah, I think agents, AI agents. I think I'll answer it in two parts. One is an agent who's using AI. So we have an agent called Freddy, which has been using AI. And to my mind, again, I'll kind of do a crossover between agents using AI and agentic AI. And I'll talk briefly about both. To my mind, agentic AI is something which is not just an application of technology for the popular use case, which is, you put it on a website and then get it to answer questions. That is, of course, a use case. But the way we look at it in Federal Bank is it has to be actually solving a real problem and doing something. And that's something that we've done in Freddy. You can actually, it's integrated with Alexa, it's integrated with Google, it's integrated with WhatsApp. So you can start a transaction. You can actually tell Freddy transfer money to my mother, for example. Of course, you have to link it once. One very use case I'm fond of is that, all of us have this situation where you drive up to a toll booth and then you panic because there's no money, and then you have to pull up on the side of the road and then you have to take out your phone. We have a fully seamless journey where you can actually start a conversation with Freddy saying, "Hey Freddy, transfer 500 rupees to my FASTag," and it'll do it without touching your phone. That, to my mind, is a very real agentic use case. In the newer sense of the word, agentic AI is something we are experimenting with. It's a new technology. Generative AI itself is just about 3 years old, and like Mr. Obale said, we are also having several internal use cases. We have not exposed it to customers yet because we are still trying to get the data privacy aspects very, very clear. But yeah, agentic is something that we are looking at very seriously because, to my mind, that is going to be a big game changer in terms of what I just said. Actually taking workloads of people and allowing them to do something else.
Yeah, so I think what you said is largely you're putting AI to improve the productivity of human, or AI in the loop
Yes.
of your processes and journeys.
Yeah.
Great. Yes.
So, just to augment what Daniel was saying, the challenge for a CIO or CTO is a little bit different, and probably a good use case to handle. 101-year-old bank with a legacy, which is more than even the regulator himself. So we have a challenge in our hand. We are using it in a different way, and what we have understood is there are 2-3 use cases which we found out. One is specifically with respect to service requests to be handled. There are around 54 service requests which all the banks take care of. What happens generally is, for your mobile banking or for your internet banking or for so what we have created is multiple workflows for every service request. Like you're talking about change in address or something which is as simple as that. How are you going to handle that? What happens is there are two types of challenges which we have. Change in regulation which gets affected, and if you want to make one regulatory change, we have to change in all the 5 channels. What we have done is what we are experimenting, and we're trying to address this issue is having an agentic AI, one agentic AI which can replace all the workflows. So it will be agnostic of channels. At the same time, 54 I don't have to change in 4 systems if I want to make it one change. So it's like re-engineering your workflow, and as all the banks are moving towards hollowing the core, right? That's the strategy. It's also about relooking the strategy from a simplification of your architecture from that perspective. So I look at it very differently, from a simplification of a enterprise architecture for the bank and making it more simple for futuristic handling of requests as well. So
No, awesome. I think you probably struck the right chord, which is what I keep saying. How do you start becoming AI ready organization first before you start even embarking on the journey? A lot of people just go on the top floor without realizing they don't even have a great foundation built in yet. So hopefully, yeah, I think that's where a lot of conversations need to go, rather than just grabbing the headlines through pilots and POCs. But I think that's where, Amit, like to hear you, because you have a different perspective. I think we are 3 bankers here who are talking about the enterprise side of readiness, adoption, use cases. You are offering your product and solutions to them, and probably many more around. So how are you seeing this in your context for the products and solutions that you offer?
Thank you for this opportunity. So we at AuthBridge have been a 20 years plus old background verification company. And now we have transformed into an AI first company where we are bringing a lot of AI solutions to our BFSI clients. So some of them are like our digital address verification, which involves a lot of AI agents where we can match the house number from the image. No human needs to be there in the loop. We have a mule account monitoring tool where we monitor 25,000 plus high-risk websites every hour, and we figure out the payee accounts and we share it with our banking clients. And there are a lot of voice AI bots that we are now bringing for our clients so that they can reduce their TATs, they can do collections, onboardings pretty efficiently and at scale without depending on humans taking leaves or not getting bored and all those things. So yeah, it's pretty exciting time.
No, great. So I think I was just talking before we got onto the panel. I happened to spend last few weeks out in US with a lot of AI folks, really seen some cool stuff, and I realized we still have probably a long way to go. So if you are founders sitting in this room, if you are building products and solution, don't lose heart. I think the market is not yet matured in India, both on the solution maturity and the enterprise readiness. So if you are out there, I think it's a great conversation to be part of here in this room. And largely when we are talking about the AI agents, I think we are still at a very early stage. I haven't yet seen or come across, at least in India, any successful large adoption or deployment where you are creating autonomous digital co-workers which use AI to understand the context, make decisions, and act across systems. Uh, because humans can define policies, and the digital co-workers at the end of it are going to execute and run that. So we are still, I think, probably somewhere in the journey between early success of generative AI use cases, running probably some amount of lifting between replacing RPAs and certain processes that were done differently. Probably that's where we are applying it. But I think I'll get into slightly more specific question, Sandeep, to you first, because like you mentioned, you are a senior banking veteran, having worn multiple hats, and I think SBI with its scale and transformation beat the story of YONO, which all of us as consumers have started to now touch SBI probably a lot more digitally than physically. Uh, and I think there are a huge impact. Anything in SBI that you probably touch, like you said, contact center, your processes, your loans, your customer experience journey. So I think the question is, while we all want to move from pilot to full scale deployment, intent wise, I don't see there is an issue, but I still see banks struggle from moving from pilots to a full scale deployment. So what are a couple of constraints that comes your way when you have to deploy this at scale in a bank like yours?
So there are, rather than constraints, I would put it that we need to be very cautious while adopting this Gen AI and agentic AI kind of technologies. So it's not about constraint, at least for bank like SBI. Yes, these technologies, they do come with cost, like GPUs. They are very expensive. And the skill set which
India has only 18,000 GPUs, by the
and
way.
a few of them are with
And,
us.
and Grok has a lot more GPUs than the entire country. India has. So that's the reality.
So we do have GPUs now, and we are going to start working on them. But in the interim, we are already having a very good number of use cases for AI. The constraint part that you are referring to is more on the experience, as what kind of experience we are going to get out of these technologies. So we are still going through, the entire banking industry in country, I would say, is going through as to test these cases first on the internal customers and see how it works, and then go about using it in a large scale. So more than constraint, it's a very calibrated, phased approach, and I think it's a wise approach. We'll have to see how it is going to work. Now, 2 years back, we were having some apprehension about using AI. Now, when we are in 2025, we have started using it already. So we already have two very good use cases, very successful use cases of a pre-approved personal loan and pre-approved business loan. And we also have one product where the data is totally unstructured, like non-corporate salary package customers who do not have any fixed flow of revenue in their accounts. But these people, we know that they are doing some small businesses, but might not be having like a salaried person, a steady flow of revenue in the account or money in the account on a particular date, but are having some credit worthiness. So how do I identify them and tap them? So talking about constraint, yes, they are there, but we are slowly coming out of it. And very soon we'll be having a full-fledged suite of products which are purely running on AI, GenAI, and agentic.